Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Am I glad to see you? So I'm going to be working on a page of my ring-bound journal today, and I thought I would show you my idea. So I'm going to be, obviously my ring-bound journal is in the Tim Holtz papers, so I thought I would show you my idea for his 12 by 12 papers, as I'm sure many of you will know, but if you don't, they come with sheets of these small rectangles, and if memory serves, these are about 3 by 4 inches, and you get a whole set of these front and back, and I like to use these for lots of different things, as pockets and tucks mainly, sometimes also to cut scraps from them and things, because basically they're the designs of the 12 by 12s but in smaller size. So yeah, I like to use them as pockets and tucks, which is where this little idea came from. So this of course is an envelope, and then I've got some of the rectangles on the front which act as little pockets for some small tags, and then the whole thing is a pocket as well. So that's what we're going to be making, something similar to that one, and I'll show you my idea for how I want it to be used in the journal because it's only a small piece. So I've got a junk mail envelope, and what I'm going to be doing with all of my pages is having some cardstock along the edge. Now if memory serves, this is roughly about 1 inch wide and it's on both sides, and what that allows each page to have is, I'm doing this for a few reasons. First off, I feel like it adds consistency through the journal, where if every page has the same coloured strip down the side, then it just adds a little bit of consistency despite all of the pages having different ephemera and different papers on them. So that's the first reason. The second reason is it helps me know where my holes are. So if I always know the holes are going to be on this strip, then when I come to decorate up my pages or make the ephemera, I know how much space on each page that I have to work with. So, I can't go over this line because that's where the holes are going to be. So it means that I don't end up putting holes in my pockets or things like that. The other reason is, if I were to just put the holes straight through this envelope, over time, this is gonna, even with eyelets or hole reinforcers, over time I feel like it will deteriorate with wear and tear. Whereas if it's got a nice sturdy bit of card on each edge, then that just adds that little bit of strength, if you see what I mean. So yeah, this is there for a few reasons. Anyway, so this is going to be one of my pages. I'm going to have all this decorated up with something fabulous in the window. And what I want on the back side of it here is this piece fits really, really nicely, almost like it's sort of like a framed focal point on the back. So the back of the envelope will have some kind of like collaging or pretty paper on it. And then we're going to have this, which will be, the piece itself is 3 pockets. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. And then I can have this be a belly band, a side tuck, a large tuck, something like that. So it will be 4 pockets on the back of this page with the envelope. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to show you how I made it, so that if you would like to have some ideas, then hopefully you'll get something from this video. So I have some of these. These are, I believe, coin envelopes, is that what you'd call them? Mandy from SunflowersAndDors sent me a pack of these, or a set of these, and they're fabulous. And I believe they're about 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 across. I'm just telling you that because the Tim Holtz rectangles just fit really, really nicely on the front. So, that's the type of thing that we're going to have. Okay, so I'm going to do it on the front edge here. So this will be the edge that gets glued down to the page. So we're going to start by, I'm going to fold in the flap of the envelope. So I'm just going to fold that over like so. And I'm just going to tuck it in. It's going to be cut off in a second, but by just folding it over, it means that I don't have to worry about cutting any straight lines. Okay, so now I'm going to pinch the 2 sides of the envelope, like so, and where I've just folded over that edge, I'm just going to pinch it so that you get a nice line like this. So I'll just do that again so you can see. So this is the front. I'm pinching in the two sides so you get the kind of like wide mouth syndrome. And then we're going to pinch that front, and I'm going to cut this. And what will happen is, I'm sure you've seen this before, but if you haven't, it will mean that I get a really nice, even, slanty point. Now on this one, I did do a thumb notch. I don't think that's necessary, so I'm not going to do it on this one, partly because it gets in the way of this, and it's just not needed, but that's why we have prototypes. Okay, so as I say, I'm just going to simply cut from this end into that middle, just following where my point is. I think I need to do a bigger point, so instead I'm going to come a bit further down, like so. So that one's a little bit of a sharper point than my last one. As you can see with this one, I got a little bit of a nicer edge, but that's okay, no matter. So we're going to line the envelope with some scrap paper, and this is where we can, mainly just because, I mean, you could leave it like that, but it doesn't look, you know, the nicest. So I'm going to line it with some scrap paper. So this is where we can use some of our strippy scraps. Okay, so I like to use something relatively neutral because I'm just going to slip it in the back there. So I was thinking about possibly this text. Yes, I think I'll just use the text and then it will go with whatever we have in the front. Okie dokie. So, just gonna hold that there so that I can cut it down to size. So I'm just gonna match it to the size of the envelope first of all. Okay. And just gonna straighten up this edge. You're not gonna see it, but it's just because I don't want any jaggedy edges getting in the way of whatever does go in the pocket. So let's just see. I think I probably have to take off a little bit more. So you could measure. I like to do trial and error because that's just me, but you know, you do you. Let's see, a little bit more I think as well. Okay, so once we're cut down to size, I'm just positioning it so that it's, I'm putting it so that it's in line with the back of the envelope. Okay, so what you should find is we're hiding the fact that this already has a point. Now I could have made life easier for myself and done the two squares on the back here. The trouble is that I didn't really want to show these lines. So if you don't want to do the cut in this point, then you could just do it that way instead, but you know. Okay, so that's where we're going to have it. So I'm just going to ink the scrap, just the edge that you can see. And then I'm going to use my Kalau just because it gives me a bit of movement. But I'm going to be very careful not to pour out too much because I obviously don't want to risk closing up my pocket. Okay. For example, that is like a lot. Okay. Just going to smear that around a bit so it doesn't gloop out everywhere on me. Okie dokie. And then I'm just going to slide that in. So I'm going to pinch again. And be very careful. So just slide that in. As I say, the Kalau, it does give you a nice bit of movement, at least compared to some glues. So I'm just making sure I've got it in the right place. Okay, and we're going to smooth that down. Make sure we haven't got any glue seepage going on. And that also just gives the envelope a little bit of strength as well, because they're not the, you know, they're not the thickest papers. Okay, and I just want to put some ink just along this edge. and that's our envelope ready. So now we've got the Tim Holtz squares. So from the paper that I showed you in the beginning, we cut the 2 squares together and we just simply fold them in half. And what you get is a 3x4, 2 pieces together. And this is going to be our pocket. So I would like this one to be in the front, and then I'm trying to decide between this one with those pretty roses, which I really like, or this yellow one. I think I'm going to go with the roses. So what I was doing with choosing the papers is I was choosing ones where the front pocket is going to be quite a lot going on. It's quite busy. Partly because then it doesn't need decorating, the job's done for you. Secondly, well, it just looks good. And then in the background, I was going with something a little bit less busy, less fussy, more plain perhaps. So we've got these pretty roses up there, but nothing is competing with this pattern in the front. We've got some white here, or at least, some plain space. So that was my thinking behind those. I did have this yellow one as well, where, this is just, a pretty pattern. It's not busy like this one. Okay, so that's going to be our pocket. So I'm just going to ink these around, just because then that's done. So I'm just using vintage photo, nothing special. And don't feel like you have to use Tim Holtz for these. I did this because I don't like to measure things, because no matter how hard I try, I always get my measuring wrong. This way I could just simply cut along the lines of the cards, fold them over, and I had a pocket. Nice and simple. Alrighty, so the next job is to pop a thumb notch in the tops of these. So I'm just putting the 2 cards on top of each other so that I can have them both be, relatively the same in the middle. And I'm just going to punch a thumb notch in that front piece, hoping that's the middle. And have these nearly flick me in the eye. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that looks absolutely fine. Perfection. So I'm just going to ink those notches. And then, as you might have guessed, really simple. We're just going to glue the side here and the bottom edge of each of these mini pockets. So I'm doing a relatively thin line. They are only small pockets. So yeah, I'm just doing a thin line-ish. Like so. I'm using tacky glue, whoops, because it allows me to get a nice thin bead. Art glitter glue, tacky glues, these are quite nice precision glues, rather than the gloopy Fabri-Tac getting everywhere. Story of my life. But yeah, at least this allows you some precision. And yeah, just to get that thin line, so you're not taking away from, too much of the size of the pocket, if you know what I mean. Okay, and then we're just going to simply glue them down where we want them to be. So I think I'm pretty happy with how that would look. Maybe move that one over just a tad. I think that would be fine. So we're going to do this one first of all. And we're just going to glue it the whole way down. Now you could turn these into like little tuck spots, or you could do really, lots of different things. I'm just going to glue them all the way down, because once I've got this whole piece on the page in my journal, it's going to be 4 pockets or 4 tuck spaces. And for me, I think that's, plenty for one page. But if you wanted to do more, then the option is there. Okay, so I think I said about here-ish. Okay, like so. And we're going to do the same on here. Really, really, you know, simple make for today. But I just think they look absolutely fabulous. And, you know, who doesn't love pocket ideas and more pockets? I think we can never have too many pockets, is what I say. Okay. And then we're going to have this overlap this one. Think about there-ish. So yeah, I had to come a little bit lower down this one compared to my first one, just because I did that great big V, but that's okay. I think it looks fine. Okay, so there we go. And we're going to have, these are just some craft tags that I've just put some eyelets in. And those are going to be, for me, they're the perfect size for fitting in here. I just got these from Etsy. Should probably be used a die or a tab punch or something. And as you can see, that bigger V does get in the way just a little bit, but not like a crazy amount. And then I'll put some string or something in those. So yeah, as I say, I mean, this could be another tuck if you wanted it to, you know, a secret tuck or something. That would be cool. So, you know, do change this up to suit you. You don't have to do things exactly the way that we show you on videos, of course. And yeah, I hope you like that little idea. As I say, I'm going to have them on envelopes like this, or might not be an envelope, but I know one of them will definitely be on the back of an envelope just because I think it's cool. And yeah, that's going to be our little piece. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you like the idea. I'd love to hear if you're going to go off and give something like this a go. So yeah, I definitely think I prefer this V, but without the thumb notch. So, you know, if I could mould them together, I would. But that doesn't matter, does it? I think they both look perfectly fine. So I hope you like the idea. I hope it's given you a little bit of inspiration today. And, you know, as always, thanks ever so much for tuning in, spending your time with me and being here. It feels good to be back. So, yeah, I will say goodbye for now then, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.